just because we get around.
Welcome back, folks. This is the Ray Lucia Show. You know, before the break, I was speaking with Lyn Rowe, who is still with me. By the way, you can get a hold of Lyn, and you should, at iwantmyltc.net. iwantmyltc.net, 877-270-3127. Lyn, I teased Alzheimer's, and we were talking about younger folk getting long-term care for two reasons. One is they may not qualify for it later on in life.
Right.
And two is, even when you factor in the fact that they might be paying for 20 years in premiums longer, the premiums, even if you were to invest that money, it's almost impossible to keeping pace with the premiums that we know about today.
Yes.
But go back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What were the premiums then and the increases for the future?
And the increases that people have had, let's say in their premiums, they've had a 10% increase or a 20% increase or something like that. Even when you put that number in there, it's just light years difference. We just did the math off the air, and you said that the cost increase from 40 to 70 was, correcting my math, was what?
250%.
Thank you.
Not 68%.
He loves math. And then the benefit, because of the same cost of living adjustment, if you put that in the plan, was what?
It was 242%.
So that 40-year-old who bought the coverage has 242% more benefit with what? 250, or even with the COLA, even with the increases figured in of, say, a premium along the way.
It's just, it's so logical. It makes mathematical sense, and it makes not only the economics,
fiscal sense,
but it makes good common sense that you take care of business. The reason I brought up Alzheimer's disease is because that is the most debilitating of all, because the rest of your body's working for the most part.
That's exactly right. And you know what, Ray? Because they're doing so much research in that field, they're diagnosing it earlier. So the tendency toward that, and they're looking at family history. And so that's where, you know, you might run into the insurability issue and be fine, still working, healthy and all that, but you might have those issues getting the coverage.
Phone lines are open, 844-RAY-SHOW, if you want to talk about this or any other topic. I know we had someone on hold. Is that Dave in Seattle still around, guys? Yeah. Let's chat with Dave. Can you help me with this?
Sure.
All right, Dave, how you doing today?
Fine, Ray, and nice to talk to you again. I am in Seattle. I have met you here. I am a federal retiree. I'm well diversified in dividend-paying stocks and have federal pension. I have some 300,000 sitting around earning almost nothing, and it's now a good opportunity to jump in the market and put this money in blue chips. Blue chips have not come down much though. Or should I just ETF into the total stock market or S&P 500? I bought Caterpillar a while ago. I thought that was the best price for the year at 89, and now it's at 75.
Well, let's talk about strategy. Hang on a sec. I don't want to talk about individual stocks because I'd be the last guy
I understand.
You want to ask about that. But let me ask you, you said you are a retiree, is that correct?
Yes, federal.
Now this money, this couple of $100,000 that you have, when might you need to tap into this particular block of money? Is this money?
No, I don't need it.
You don't need it. So this money is for your kids and or your grandkids, right?
Kids are professionals. One is a professor.
I don't need to know the history. I just need to know about this money. You say you don't need it, so you don't need it now. When might you think, anyway, that you would need this money?
I hope not.
All right, well, there's two choices as I see it. Here's my, okay, hang on, I'll give you my take, because we're going to run out of time. There's two choices here. if this is long-term money, 15, 20-year money, then I don't have any problem whatsoever with you going into a broadly diversified equity portfolio. A total stock market index would be just dandy and fine for me. Even a blue chip index would be fine as well, but it sounds like you got a bunch of blue chips already. It wouldn't even bother me if you had a world market index, even though the world is suffering a more severe cold, in fact, pneumonia, compared to the little tiny hiccup that we're having. But it wouldn't bother me because of the time horizon. Now, if it is truly for funds that you would like to leave to your heirs, I would take half of this money and I would put it into some kind of a single pay, second to die life insurance policy, maybe a guaranteed death benefit universal life policy. Because I think what you'll find there is there's a lot more predictability. We know we're going to die, and we also know that if you put in, let's say I'm making these numbers up, $100,000, it can deliver a $600,000 benefit. That benefit could either be for long-term health care, as we were just discussing with Lyn, or it can be a death benefit on whenever you die or your spouse dies or the two of you dies. And when you do the math on that, and I've done it, for somebody our age in the retirement mode, it can be an 8.5%, 9% tax-free rate of return. Hard to get that even in stocks and even over long periods. So for me, I would divvy the money up into two different buckets. One for your long-term growth bucket, money that you might use, and one into what I would call a legacy bucket. And that legacy bucket will deliver a rate of return on the date of your death or the second of you and your spouse, if you have one, to die. That return will be tax-free. It probably won't be double digit, but it might be in the high single digit. So that's your stock and bond alternative combo play. Dave, nice to speak with you again. I'll be up in Seattle again soon. Make sure you come by and see me. Lyn Rowe,
Yes.
What say you?
I think that was brilliant. I couldn't have said it better myself. Most of that money is going to go to those kids because he's done such a great job of putting together his safe money.
People don't look at insurance products as a wonderful, safe financial tool.
And it
Pretty
always-
incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
So here's Dave. He's 60-something. He said he was a retiree, right?
Yeah,
So he's got to be 60-something, 70, whatever. And our pal, Gene Pastula, at our last summit, put this up on the board, something I've talked about, but he did the actual math. And he'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. He'll be in this week sometime. But I think he said something like 9.5% tax-free return if you died at your normal life expectancy.
Yeah.
I've done it before, and I've come up with a 6, 7, 8% return if you died sometime into your 90s.
Right.
Wade Pfau has done studies on this. This is why you should call Lyn, because you work with all of these kinds of products, and you work with Gene, I know.
Yes.
877-270-3127. Now we know you focus on I Want My LTC, which is why you have a website called IWantMyLTC.net. But he could theoretically do one of those asset transfer deals, could he not?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're right, this is a great way, and you can couple these things together. You can get that legacy asset for your kids, but you can also take care of the long-term care through some of the products.
And some of the insurance policies, life insurance policies, have these long-term care accelerated death benefits at virtually no cost.
Yeah.
You just buy the insurance policy that I was talking about that might give them a 7, 8, whatever % tax-free rate of return upon death. Now, don't go out there and start quoting me that I said some insurance policy is going to get you 8% rate of return. This is internal rate of return at death.
Right.
which is what you're looking for.
Right.
This is money I want to leave to my kids.
Right.
All right? I can leave money in my left pocket in the stock market, and the day before I die, if the market drops 50%, then their internal rate of return at death might be 2% or a
Right.
negative number. Or I can leave the money in my right pocket, not suffer any losses in the stock market, period. It can't go down, it doesn't go down, could potentially go up if the market does well, depending on the type of policy. Or I know very predictably what my kids will get on the day that I die. So then the only question is, if I die earlier than life expectancy, then they get a much better rate of return. And if I live too long, oh, so what? I got to live longer and their return went from 8% to 6% or something like that. I mean, it is a financial tool that Lyn Rowe can help you with. I want my LTC.net. We'll be back.